All right, everybody, buckle up because today we are diving deep into the den of the lion, the Leo zodiac sign.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we got some really interesting insights about Leos from a super credible astrology site somebody sent in, so we're going to break it all down. Think of it like a crash course in
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah.
All the good, all the magnificent, maybe even a little bit of the not so great.
It never ceases to amaze me how many times you hear someone say, "Oh, he's such a Leo." But what does that even mean? Let's get into it. So, July 23rd to August 22nd. We're talking prime summertime, obviously ruled by the sun, symbolized by the lion. It's no wonder these guys are known for being fiery, creative, a little dramatic perhaps.
Okay, so I'm already imagining like someone who struts around like they own the place, which I guess makes sense, king of the jungle and all that.
Right.
And our source definitely leans into that whole vibe, describing Leos as natural-born leaders, passionate, generous, sometimes to a fault, but then also maybe a tad stubborn, a little self-centered every now and then.
Yeah, you think about that whole fire element, warm, inviting. If you get too close, you get burned,
Right.
right? And that stubborn streak, it can really work in their favor. It's that unwavering belief in themselves. But the real question is, I think, where does this need to be the center of attention come from? Why that constant need for validation?
That's what I want to know. I mean, it's one thing to just go through a list of traits, but what's the why behind it all? What's the deeper meaning, behind the roar?
Well, our source actually had a really interesting point about that, talking about the lion in a cave.
Yeah.
So beneath that very confident exterior, they can actually be quite vulnerable and prone to self-doubt. And so they crave that external validation to kind of quiet those inner insecurities.
Okay, so it's not just about needing to be showered with compliments for a Leo. It's more about that deeper need for self-acceptance and growth. So is that where, like, finding that balance comes in?
Absolutely. And for many Leos, that's, a lifelong journey, learning that their true worth comes from within, not just from what other people are telling them.
So we talked about what's going on inside the mind of a Leo, but what about their relationships? Our source said that Leos are most compatible with Aries, Gemini, Libra, and Sagittarius.
Interesting.
They even said that Libras can actually help Leos smooth out some of their rough edges.
Oh.
But I'm not an expert or anything. But wouldn't a fire sign and an air sign, like, clash?
Well, that's what makes this so interesting. I mean, yeah, on the surface, you'd expect some fireworks.
Right.
And believe me, with these two, there will be. But there's also this really great harmony between them. Libra is ruled by Venus, right, love and harmony. And then Leo, obviously the sun. And in astrology, the sun and Venus are actually considered friendly planets. They complement each other.
Okay, so it's not just about finding someone who can handle the heat.
Yeah.
It's more about that cosmic balance.
Exactly.
What I am curious about, though, is the source mentioned that a Libra's diplomatic nature can help a Leo.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in, like, real-life terms?
Okay, so picture this. A Leo, known for their direct approach, might just jump right into a debate. But a Libra, with that natural diplomacy, might say, hey, let's look at this from all sides.
Yeah.
So the Libra really helps the Leo to kind of pause and consider different perspectives, which can actually lead to more understanding and less conflict.
So it's almost like the Libra is the voice of reason in the Leo's, like, whirlwind of passion.
Exactly.
Kind of a cosmic dance.
Yeah.
But we've talked about romance enough for now. Our source also mentioned that Leos need to find their tribe when it comes to friendships. And I imagine that with their larger-than-life personality, it takes a certain kind of person to really vibe with a Leo.
Yeah, they need friends who appreciate their generosity, their loyalty, but are also okay with, challenging them every once in a while.
Right, because they can be stubborn.
Exactly. So having people around who aren't afraid to call them out on things is really important for Leos to grow.
It's all about balance.
Right.
Even the life of the party needs someone to keep them grounded. Speaking of keeping it real, what about family life for Leos?
Yeah.
Do they rule their family pride with, like, an iron fist? Or are they more hands-off?
It's a little more complicated than that. I mean, Leos are very independent, so family might not always be their top priority.
Okay.
But they're fiercely loyal, they're protective of the people they love, and would do anything for them.
So kind of a softy underneath all that mane of confidence.
Right.
Now let's talk about something a little less sentimental, finances.
Yeah.
Our source mentioned that Leos have expensive tastes.
Oh, yeah.
But they aren't always the best at managing their money.
Yep.
Is that their fiery nature getting them into trouble again?
I mean, Leos are definitely drawn to the finer things in life. They love to enjoy themselves.
For sure.
And because of their natural charisma, they often end up in leadership positions, particularly more creative fields. So that helps with the income part. But yeah, responsible budgeting, not always their forte. I think it's more that they'd rather share an experience with someone they love than worry about, pinching pennies.
Ah, the classic treat yourself mentality.
Exactly.
Speaking of exciting and unpredictable, the Leo love life. And our source gave us the inside scoop on both the lion and the lioness, as they put it. So let's...
Oh, a little drama never hurt anyone. But yeah, you're right. They both, lion and lioness, crave that admiration. They want a partner who kind of adds to their...
sparkle.
Yes. Someone to be proud of, to show off a little. But that's kind of where the similarities end, actually. Our source had some really interesting things to say about their differences.
Okay, lay it on me. What are the differences?
So the Leo man, they called it, like an eternal bachelor energy.
Oh.
He loves the thrill of the chase, the big romantic gestures, and he wants to be showered with attention. It's not that he can't commit, but his ideal partner would have to be okay with, well, a certain level of theatricality in the relationship, let's say.
Yeah, they do like a captive audience.
Right.
What about the Leo woman, though? Is she happy sharing the spotlight?
Not so much. So while she definitely appreciates romance and those grand gestures, she also really craves clarity and commitment. She needs to know that she's valued for her, not just her looks or accomplishments. The source really emphasized that for a Leo woman, feeling like a queen, it's about genuine appreciation, not superficial flattery.
Okay, so the Leo king might be happy with a roaring good time, but the Leo queen knows what she's worth.
Exactly.
Demands that respect, which makes sense to me. But it does make you wonder, with all this deserving a queen and needing constant admiration, is there a danger that Leos might end up with people who just, stroke their ego but aren't really bringing much else to the table?
I think that's such a good point, and it shows why, these deep dives are so interesting, right? Because it's tempting to just simplify it all down to a cosmic checklist. Find a Libra, flatter them constantly, and you're good.
Right.
But real life's way more complicated, isn't it? It's about understanding the motivations, the good stuff, the potential pitfalls for every sign.
Totally.
Yeah.
And recognizing that regardless of your sign, we all have that capacity for growth and self-awareness,
Oh, absolutely.
So to any Leos listening who are thinking, wait, do I need to change who I am?
Yeah.
What would you say is the big takeaway?
Don't change. Understand, with that lion in the cave idea we talked about, learning to balance that need for external validation with actual inner confidence, that's key. Maybe then the lion can truly, rule their own kingdom.
Ooh, I love that. What a great image. It's like you said at the beginning, even if someone's not super into astrology, these archetypes, they kind of resonate for a reason.
That's true.
We've all met those Leos. And understanding their motivations, their desire to shine, to be appreciated, they can only lead to stronger, more compassionate connections, don't you think?
100%.
Well, there you have it, our deep dive into all things Leo. If today's episode piqued your interest, why not do a little digging of your own? The world of astrology is vast and full of surprises. Until next time, stay curious, keep those conversations flowing, and if you happen to cross paths with a Leo, a little genuine appreciation goes a long way.